One of the things I teach in class is a process that was taught to me as a pre-combat check. You can call it a readiness check, but the idea is to ensure that all of your equipment is going to work when you need it. So today I'm wearing my battle belt, got my Glock on me, got my AR-15 as well. And the way I prefer to ensure that I have good mags, I always start with my magazines first, is press down on the magazines to ensure that they're completely topped off. By the way, I do not get in the habit of putting empty mags or half empty mags in my magazine pouches. I will rotate those out if I use them. I'll put fully loaded mags in my pistol pouch first, pistol magazine pouch, then I'll move on to my rifle pouches. Again, pressing the tops of the mags. This one's lacking a couple, so it's completely loaded. So I like to start with my magazines first. From there I'll move on to my sidearm, case my Glock here. I want to take the opportunity to ensure that the light is functioning and working. Make sure you don't put your hand in front of the muzzle, because I've seen that done before. So do a function test, put it up against background. Light is good to go. I will also take the opportunity to look down the sights. I'm running a red dot and adjust the brightness to adjust for the current ambient light settings. From there, I'll go ahead and gas up the gun or charge my handgun. And I'll do a press check to ensure that that round completely fed and is seated. I'll tap the rear of the slide to ensure that the slide goes into battery, because if the slide is just barely hung up, the gun will not fire. And then when I holster up, I keep my thumb on the rear of the slide, and I'll go and holster up. The reason being, there have been instances where the pistol gets caught up going into the holster and the gun goes out of battery, and there have been instances where the gun will just stay out of battery despite moving around and doing other things. So I apply pressure on the rear of the slide with my thumb as I'm holstering my handgun. Then I'll move on to my AR-15. I like to work from the front to the rear, make sure that my suppressor's in place, it's mounted appropriately. Then I'll look at my sling mounts, my laser. I'll do a function test, my vis laser. Then I'll move on to my light. Light is functioning, and obviously I'm a big fan of paint pens. I'll take a look at the screws that I've marked to ensure that they're not spinning out on me. Everything looks good to go. Then I'll move on to my optic, moving from the front to the rear. Look down the sight, it's a bit dim. I'll go and adjust the brightness for the current settings. And again, I'll take a look at the screws, which are marked and they're in the correct place. I'll throw my rifle on, make sure the sling is adjusted the way I prefer to have it. It's all good to go. Really, the last step is to seat a mag, chamber the round, and then I'll do a final press check. And I can do this press check method or use this technique in the evening or during the day, where I'll reach the non-dominant hand around the front of the mag well. I have plenty of control. The gun is pointed up and in a safe direction. And then I can take my index finger and feel that there is brass. Then I'll go and send the charging handle forward, press the bolt carrier group to ensure that the rifle is completely in battery. And then my final step of my pre-combat check is to close that dust cover. So now I know without a doubt that if I need to use my pistol, I aim in and I press the trigger, the gun's gonna go off. Of course, unless I have any malfunctions, maybe there's a bad round in there. I know that if I need to use my my carbine, my light's gonna work, my laser is working, my optic works, the brightness is set to a setting that is appropriate for current ambient light conditions. I know I've got a round in there, I've got the dust cover closed, and I know without a doubt that I've got fully loaded mags, both pistol and rifle, in my pouches, because I don't get in the habit of putting empty magazines or partially loaded magazines in my pistol or rifle pouches. That's what I carry a dump pouch for if I have the opportunity to hold on to or save a partial mag. That's what my dump pouch is for. So I hope that helps. I think it's really important for everybody to have their readiness check or pre-combat check process. Obviously you want your firearm to work if you're having to use it, and you want your magazines to be in a condition where it's going to help you. You want fully loaded mags, because after all, if we're having to do a reload, something's going on. So make sure you all have a methodical process that you're sticking to, and as you keep doing this over and over and over, you will absolutely run into instances where you'll realize, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I went through this process. It saved me at a time when I had to take a shot on a feral pig, or at a competition, or a more serious situation. It's incredibly important to make sure that you're going through a thoughtful process